Hey, what's up, everybody? You're through to the Outlaw Nation. This is the Ultimate Schmodown After Show, the only Schmodown After Show on the Outlaw Nation. I'm one of your hosts today. My name is Boggs with my Miami Heat girl. So, how you doing today, sir?
Woo-hoo. Doing good. Miami Heat are doing good. We're still number one right now in the East. I'm excited for my Miami Heat, not so much for my Inter Miami, but it's okay.
Damn, it's a long season though, so we'll see. But yeah, everyone, hi, everyone in the chat. We've got two very special guests today who've headlined the last two Friday Night Titans, of course. So they're much in demand. Very special guests. Thanks for joining us, which we'll bring them on in a few minutes. Just want to remind everyone, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Super chats and streamlines will be open. Of course, drop any comments or questions you have in the chat. If we can't bring them on, it's obviously just a bit easier to bring them on via Streamlabs and Super Chats. Also, patreon.com/John Roker. We gather questions from our patrons, and we'll ask our special guests some questions from the community. So you can join that as well, along with fan leagues, along with hangouts, watch alongs, all sorts. So have a look at that if you want. But what we do at the start of the show, we give shout outs to the previous comments on last week's episode. So my girl Soul is going to be doing that for us today.
So for our first comment, we have from JMB going, "Damn me for missing this live. Smithy!" There was a lot of S's, M's, I's, T's, E's in that. So I had to do the full blank. Also from JMB, "I have no inside info or anything for this, but I'm guessing that the Bateman Guy reunion was supposed to happen sooner, but well, COVID and all. But it's good seeing those two heels back together again. I will root against them, but they are great heels. They are great heels indeed."
They are.
Then we have Jason Earhart going, "Great episode as always. My first movie that I remember seeing was Return of the Jedi. My favorite soundtrack, Lost Boys, The Crow, and Empire Records."
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We talked about favorite first movies we saw in the theaters, right? With our we did a special interview with the Outlaw Nation patron Smithy, so check that out if you haven't already.
And then we also have another one from JMB going, "I can't imagine not always liking Lon, but I miss his professor persona. The round glasses, the tweed jacket, though it may not have actually been tweed, and that pipe. I had totally bought into the Lon until not long after." So yeah, Lon, great character work, whatever person he's trying to be. Right now, I don't think he remembers the professor or the delinquent. I'm kind of excited to see how that goes forward. We have from Jeremy Miller saying, "Great seeing the director now. Just give him an Oscar. Give Alan Smithy an Oscar."
Yeah, he's the hardest working man in showbiz. Any more stuff?
Yes, we have two more from JMB. Alan Smithy says, "I really appreciate the Lord of the Rings soundtracks. John Roca has entered the chat room," and glares grumpily. And JMB, "Love Giacchino. I think he showed up on my radar around Star Trek 2009, and I think he's just amazing. I think he'll finally get some due, but he's been great for a long while, in my opinion." And for this last one, Bugs, I would like you to read it, because when we had a share the Patreon thing with Drunken Prayer, you promised the Scottish accent that you never delivered on. So you need to read this last one in your best Scottish accent.
Okay, this is my punishment. Scottish accent, guys. So I have not practiced this. This is just off the cuff. This is spontaneous, Great fun, as always. Thank you for the infamous Smithy for taking time out for the retirement to come chat.
Love it.
Are you happy, Sal? Are you happy?
I'm so happy.
I'm not. I'm very embarrassed. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Friday Night Titans dominated by the Reckoning. Let's get them on. So this is one heart. Well, we've got both of them on. So every head must bow. Every tongue must confess. Brother Lomis is the best. And the man with the silkiest robe I've ever seen this side of the Midwest. He has the best. I do not care. The best intro music in the game right now. It is Brother Lomis and Triple R Rick the Rager Raddus. Bring them on. Bring them on.
Woo! Start of the show, Daddy-O. What's going on, Ultimate Schmodown? Great to see you.
I'm glad to have you guys here, bringing class to the Ultimate Schmodown After Show.
Thank you for seeking me out, children. It is a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
We are very classy. You must forgive the cobwebs and ethereal light. I am cleaning out the Holy Temple basement as repentance for my absolutely embarrassing and repugnant loss to Ben Bateman. Not that I don't have plenty of things to say about that, but we must repent for our worst sins, and that was my worst.
Oh,
Well,
we'll
really,
get to that.
the match should have never even happened, but we are starting a children's program. Someone had to do it.
That's true.
Well, yeah. So, like I said, you guys at the start, you guys have dominated the last couple of Friday Night Titans. With the teams match, with both having your individual singles matches. How does it feel to be in demand? To be the most wanted at the minute. The rivaling team action as well. Now that it's all aired, how are you guys feeling about that? Ranger will go first.
I mean, the Rager feels terrific. Here's the thing. I absolutely dominated my rookie season last year. I don't know if you know that. 3-0, went perfect, didn't lose. Went absolutely perfect, but it still didn't feel quite up to its full potential. Having me here, at the grotto, doing matches on a webcam, a lot of great fun. Still, some of the best matches we've ever seen, but I got to bring my tantric energy to the studio. I got to bring it there, live action. The energy's palpable. You can tap into it. You want more of it. I feel like getting there and playing in front of the people, for the people, with the people. That's how Rick Raddus was meant to be seen. So I feel great, and I feel absolutely honored to be, one of two of the stars of the show. And as we've earned that right, of course, my good brother.
Well, as you know, team action actually forfeited as the counter had ran out. So at this point, we all want to know. We are on our way to the team's titles with almost certainty, as you are well aware. But playing live, it is great, an amazing gift. It gives a chance for our charisma, our style, our enlightenment to get into the people's soul physically, to drag them out of their seats and their little hovels, and to drag them towards the truth. Now, digitally, we enlightened the people. We thrilled the people. We brought the Finstock Exchange very, very close to a title. The others obviously let it down, so that's why we fell short. But we did what we could. But now that we are live, we have cut the dead weight, and we are bringing the children of Schmoville together.
Wow. Talk to me.
Amen.
Brother. Talk to me. Amen. Amen. So yeah, we're going to get through your matches, both of yours individually. We'll also cover the team action match as well. And we'll also got a bunch of, Patreon questions from the community as well for you both. So we're going to cover Lomis's match first, Brother Lomis's, of course. And so we'll be covering that match.
Now, Brother Lomis, wasn't really expecting to see you in IG this year. What was the decision of taking that division by storm and bringing some grace and class to that division?
Well, I had followed along with the Meryl Streep exhibition match that they had last year. And quite frankly, I would have dominated both of those competitors. And really, there's so much overlap in between the two. I figured it was a very natural transition for me to move into IG.
Perfect. Love it. Going into your match, so you have a man of the cloth versus an 80s aerobic instructor who deals out puns. She's known as the Punisher. Having all of those, going against that and seeing someone giving all those puns, what was the vibe in the studio playing a match against Alana Jordan?
Well, it was very special for me. As you have witnessed my impeccable dance moves, not many people know this, but I was a backup dancer for the Miami Sound Machine in the late 80s before I found my way into the light. And of course, seeing Sister Alana and her Olivia Newton-John garb, it brought me back there. It was a sinful time, but I was young, so I do reminisce about it at times. And so that I could guide her so that she could move forward beyond that, so that she could move into the light. It was a very special moment for me.
Bugs, do you know what the Miami Sound Garden is?
Absolutely
Sound
no idea.
Machine.
Sound Machine, sorry.
Gloria,
Yeah.
you're all young.
But going in, I do know who they are, but because I'm here in Miami. Woo! Going into your round one, almost perfect there, Brother Lomas. Just missing an S in Reese Ifans. Did you think about possibly doing that challenge of like that you knew who it was and missing just by a letter? I forget the name of that challenge currently right now. Benefit of the doubt. There we go. Did you possibly think about doing that in your round one? Because it was almost a perfect round. Alana Jordan getting 5 points in that round one.
In truth, the Reese Ifans was a complete and utter guess. I actually thought it was Gary Coleman, but I just put Reese Ifans down. I didn't want it to get, I didn't want to seem too what is the word? Too cocky. I didn't want to
Mm.
go perfect in my first round in the IG. I did not want to intimidate the other players. So I initially went off of Gary Coleman's, just wrote Reese Evans as almost a joke. And it turns out he was actually the one in the film. And so then I didn't feel it was quite right to challenge at that point.
So
Maybe
humble.
it was the Lord telling you, no, it's it's him to write it down. Going into round 2, Jordan spins away from swashbuckling, gets Hasbro, only gets 1 point off of that. You stealing all of those points away before you even went. What was that feeling there to just be up by so much without even spinning the wheel yet?
Well, it was quite personally. Now, this is just my opinion. You are all entitled to your own opinion. The Transformer films are the finest films in the IG division. Michael Bay did create the greatest character, the most expansive universe in all of the IG division. And so that I could pay homage to his films and not just let those points go wasted. If you notice, the only point that I missed in that round was not one of the Michael Bay films. It was the Nielsen Shin film, which is quite forgettable, as you well know. So I was quite honored that I could bring the light to Michael Bay's great creation. So I was pretty proud of it.
Roka would be very happy with those statements that you just made here on his channel, known Transformers fan. And going into your round, why'd you spin away from Aliens Predators?
They're quite frightening.
Yeah, they are. I've only seen one of those movies. Yes, they are.
And let it be said, not creatures of God.
No, they're not.
Godless.
They were created in a laboratory by men. They are not holy. They are not divinely inspired.
Well, you get TMNT and you go so well, 21-6 KO. You didn't even go into round 3 in an IG match, getting that KO. I'm going to go to Raddus first. Seeing Brother Lomis getting that KO, did that hype you up for going into your match with Ben Bateman, seeing how well Brother Lomis was playing?
I mean, he was terrific. He was absolutely sensational. Yeah, of course. I mean, I knew what he had in the bag. You know, we went backstage. We went over a couple of notes. We made sure the brother was ready. We wouldn't have gone out there had we not been ready. He did terrific. Absolutely inspiring performance. Of course, I was already, obviously I wanted to face Ben Bateman so bad. I wanted to do that. I was ready to do that. And Brother Lomas' performance got me in the pocket, ready to go, ready to win. I mean, a knockout. When's the last time somebody got a knockout in their debut performance in a new division? I mean, like you said, didn't expect to even see him playing Inner Geekdom. And all I did was stand on the sidelines, say a couple chants, just kind of try to send him my voodoo love. And he picked it up in a big bad way. He got a knockout in his first IG match. I mean, everybody should be absolutely terrified in that division.
Brother Lomis, who would you like to play next now with this one knockout under your record?
I believe I would like to play the greatest IG competitor of all time, Matt Nost, in my next match, if that is possible.
Love it. Boggs, any questions for Brother Lomis on his match?
Yes, Brother Brolo. We do have a question. So have you seen the other Star Wars matches? Star Wars movies? Because you said there was only 2. I think there's more.
No. There's the one with Holly Hunter, and then there's the one where the puppet kills everybody. Now, I'll admit, I did not watch the last 20 minutes of the puppet one. There was too much graphic puppet nudity. I'm not comfortable with that. It is not moral. But those are the only 2. I'm almost positive.
And also, obviously, now you are a 3-division player. Obviously, we've got singles, teams, and IG. Where do you see your focus? Your best performance might have been in IG. So where do you see yourself going, your career moving forward? Is it with the Reckoning? Is it in IG? Is it in singles? Give us the. What do you think?
Well, this duality that you see before us is destined to hold all of the titles except Star Wars, because I'm not going to spend all this time just watching 2 movies over and over and over again. But the 3 belts that matter, these 2 gentlemen that you see here are going to hold all of them. And there's no point in me competing in singles if Rick Raddus is already going to win that belt. We're already going to win the team's title together. That, of course, leaves IG as my one path forward, at least for this season.
Interesting. And what would you say to the rest of the Finstock Exchange, letting you go, obviously, and both playing fantastic in your matches with in FNT, and yeah, obviously getting the win and a knockout. Imagine if it was last year, the points you would have got. What would you like to say to Bobby Gucci and the rest of the Finstock Exchange?
They did not let us go. We went on a separate path towards the light.
Of
They
course.
they went to meander around in the darkness. Now, I love those gentlemen. I hope someday they return to the light. They follow my guidance and my wisdom, much as the Rager has done. But what they do until then, I cannot help them. And I would like to say I do hope to see Brother Khan again this year. He has a new glass eye. He is looking sharp. He is looking strong. It's amazing.
And
Beautiful.
I have
Everything
a
happens for a
question.
reason, folks. Everything happens for a reason.
I have a question for the Rager before throwing over to Boggs to go over. I heard in the interview you said something about a dossier. Is there a new dossier for you and Brother Lomas?
Well, you know, there's Old Testament and there's New Testament. The dossier is an ever evolving, ever changing document. It's almost organic in that way. You know, the point I was trying to make was that, you know, we were born from that dossier. That is our entry point into the game. And in you know, not being on the exchange now, we've got to stake our claim in this, whether we're in the dossier or not. I mean, we'll always be in the dossier, of course. That's permanent ink. You know, they're not ripping pages out. You know, we'll always be in that book. But even if we're not on the exchange, we're still going to keep that legacy going strong going forward. I don't know who's in it. I don't have a copy of the dossier now. I actually think it's been being minted as an NFT. So if you want to purchase a copy on the blockchain, however that works, maybe you get one. Let me know who's in there. But yeah, of course, it's a dense document, and we're proud to have been on the very first page.
Yeah. And as an example, it is written in Latin. It is still truth, but it is not a truth that can reach the common man easily. Brother Rager and I are bringing it into the more modern English so that people can understand what the dossier was trying to do last year.
The Brother Lomis edition, of course.
I prefer the King James, but
Speaking of Finstock Exchange, shout out to Moose House in the chat. A couple of the shouts. Leah Logan, Alice Smithy, Shug Knight. Shout out to all the people watching the Reckoning. So yeah, getting into your match, of course, Triple R. Do you still go by Triple R, by the way? That's not offensive. That's not, you know, Finstock Exchange, reference.
No, you can call me Triple R. You could even call me Quadruple R, because as a rogue player, as they say, I am now the Rogue, the Rager, Rick Raddus Quadruple R, if you like.
Of course, and of course the greatest ever 3-0 player. Well, you still have that mantle. You know, that might not be your record currently, but you're still the best ever 3-0 player we've ever seen. Obviously,
exactly. No, I think that's a great point. Maybe in this point in time, I'm not presently the greatest 3-0 player of all time, but I was the greatest 3-0 player of all time until somebody takes that title from me. And quite frankly, I don't see it happen anytime soon.
And of course, you didn't even want this match. You know, you did them a favor, right? You after Kevin Smith, you after bigger fish. You know, they gave you this tune-up match, and obviously, you know, you got shafted.
Can you believe that? I called out Kevin Smith last year, and they stubbed me with bait. That's like buying tickets to a John Mayer concert and getting Ben Bateman, right? Like, what a gross disappointment that would be to have made it that far and have accomplished so much, and that's what you're stuck with. You know, but like I said, I wanted to make it happen for the kid. He just needed to earn it first, right? I had such a great year last year. And for him to come out, call me out, act like I owed him anything was preposterous. Like, I'm the one who's calling shots. I'm the one who's making demands, which still haven't been met. Okay, good enough. I'm sure you're watching. I'm sure you're listening. You know, it seemed silly to me. So I offered him a very basic challenge himself. You know, if he could find somebody who would, a competitor that would have his back, you know, if he could repent and make good on perhaps past crimes, past sins, you know, that I would reward that. And I think in the most Bateman way possible, he did it very dishonorably. He went through a loophole. And look, the establishment, Harloff, they all had an opportunity to say, no, sir, go home and award us the victory that we were owed. But I think because of the fanfare, because of the moment, Andrew Guy came back. How swell. They just let it go. They let it go. And just remember, you only get that moment because I permitted it, because the Reckoning said, okay, we'll play. We could have and should have taken our ball and gone home, but that's not our style, daddy. Okay? So if you loved Andrew Guy, if you love Team Action, if you love that moment, if you want to watch it in replays from years to come, remember who to thank. We're the first on the list, daddy.
We are givers. It is what we do.
Absolutely. And of course, after that hustle of bringing Andrew Guy last minute and being forced to play that match. You had your own hustle at the start of this match where you outwitted Bateman in the kind of spontaneous trivia thing. So loving the mind games, loving the tactics, the strategy, getting into his head before taking him on in studio.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you saw it. I'm a hell of a trivia mind. Bateman, a little cocksure, a little ahead of himself. Not one to be embarrassed or called out so easily. So yeah, look, I'll give the man his flowers. I'd say he's one of the better psychological players in the game. Okay, I'm not gonna take that away from him. So sure, I wanted to meet him on the field and play his game better than he could play it.
Hell yeah! And then,
if I may interject here, the Rager agreed to play him in singles one time, which was that first match you saw, which the Rager won handily. So the second match was never agreed to. It was not under contract. It was not a valid match. So if you are actually going by the rules that were set for, the Reckoning is 1-0 and the Rager is 4-0. Now, Harloff may want to overlook that to sell T-shirts and to appease the Action Army. But the reality is we are undefeated by anyone who gives a damn about the rules.
That's why Brother Lomas is so important. He truly sees things in a way that no others can because he sees the light and he sees the truth of every situation. That's so true, brother. Thank you.
Preach, brother. So righteous, both of you. But let's just get into your match quickly.
Okay.
Quadruple R. And getting into absolutely perfect round. Look at that. This match, the previous match against Team Action, 2 times perfect round. So absolutely fantastic performance. And of course, Brother Lomis getting 9 in both of his matches as well in the first round. So showing that you guys are a team to not to be messed with, actually. And having the lead, of course, obviously, unfortunately, not getting the bonus, but it must have been kind of verification for you to have the lead out of the first round.
Yeah, and I think coming away from this, the thing that the record books and the stat sheets and all that aren't going to show is that Rick Raddus has been putting in the work. I was putting in the work last year. I've been putting in the work in the off season because I want to show up this year and I want to give them a Rager like they've never seen before. I want to give them the deadliest, greatest Rager they've ever seen before. And, again, I don't think the record books will show that, unfortunately, coming out of this. But, I kept people on their toes, okay? I felt the energy shift in that room that day coming out of Bateman's second round. People were scared. They were shocked. They thought, wow, this really may not go the way that we think it's going to go. And what can you do? I spun a bogus category and didn't go my way the rest of the day. But fact of the matter is, 2 perfect first rounds. Didn't do that once last season. Did it both times this season. So I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah, I'll give myself a pat on the back right here.
This man is so dedicated to the Schmodown that he gave up his season passes to SeaWorld.
That's true. That's true. And they don't have the Orca whale exhibit anymore. And I would love to tell you, I actually have a weird story about why that is, but we don't have time for that today.
Sure. And of course, obviously, brother, you've getting 9 points in your teams match and in your singles IG match, 2 different divisions. People maybe thinking 3-0 is just a gimmick, and how you played last year as well. Let me thinking, these guys are just fun characters. You guys are good players as well, and if you're not on your toes, you will you will put whoopings on people. So thoughts on your 2 excellent rounds as well, Lomis, first rounds.
Well, if you'll go back through all of my first rounds, I have missed 1 question only in every single first round I have ever played. That is a pattern I keep. It shows both my excellence and my humility. I don't like to claim that I am perfect, so I do not like to go perfect. But I also want people to understand that there is a higher level that they can aspire to when they witness my play. So that is why I only miss 1 question per first round.
I see. So well intended. And then going into the second round, quadruple R is obviously you elected for Bateman to go first. He spun eventually off Spike Lee onto DreamWorks. He did multiple choice on the first, and then he also missed the third as well, which you saw beautifully. May I add, the Ants question and Bancroft. And then quite glad they dismissed that silly challenge, which was about 4 questions later. They didn't go back to that, the Secret Life of Pets one, checking on his phone. No. Not happening.
He
And then
did
going,
get 2 points off that question, so I wouldn't have argued
Yeah.
at all if they had honored
True.
Andrew Guy's challenge for his own competitor. I would have said that's just fine. Take it back.
Exactly. And then going into your round, of course, spinning off Jimmy Stewart, landing in the 90s. Obviously, this is where we saw the shift in the game. Like you said, it was a bogus category. But yeah, obviously, you did only get 3 points, and Bateman did get 3 steals. Obviously, he did play well himself. But overall, please, thoughts on your round 2? His round, of course, getting a steal, and of course, your round as well. How do you think that went?
Sure. I mean, when you play somebody like Ben Bateman, you're not going to get a lot of wiggle room for steals and such in the second round. You got to play close and you got to keep it tight the entire match. He's not going to give you a lot of opportunities to do otherwise and still win. So to get 1 steal off of him in the second round, I hope for more. I think traditionally, historically, Ben Bateman, not a great animation player, but I think he knows people knows that. I'm sure he's been putting in the work. Did okay for himself. Did better than me in 90s. I'm enough of a man to admit that much. Okay. But, he's not going to give you a lot of opportunities to cut the difference. And I was able to do that. And I think that made him a little nervous because I think he called me out trying to make an example of me because he saw me as an easy win. And when I started to make it close, I think he got a little nervous. Obviously, I would have loved to keep that suspense going up into round 3. You said I spun 90s. I thought I spun movies that nobody cares about because that's what it felt like I was being asked about up there. And he got a couple steals. And like I said, he's not a player that you can allow that much of a difference. So I knew it was an uphill battle going into the third round. I wish I could have kept it closer. I wish I could have kept it closer, but it was a tough game, tough questions. And I'm still proud of how I played. The Rangers always proud. You can't take it away from me.
Absolutely. And you were going multiple choice, if you don't know them, rather than guessing and giving them 2-point steals. So the strategy was there. But so any questions on the match so far?
First, I have a question for Brother Lomis. What did Jimmy Stewart do that was so blasphemous?
I don't want to discuss that here. I know Roka likes to foster a family environment, and these are not things that children need to hear out in the open. But I would like to point out that the Rager knew several of those answers that he missed. The only reason that he missed them is that he was distracted by the sick antics of team action. Andrew Guy's banging on the drum, his running around, his ridiculous behavior. And you did not see this on camera, but Ben Bateman took his wig off, and it was just disgusting. And we were completely and utterly distracted for about 10 minutes, which cost the Rager at least 7 points in round 2.
That's true. I signed an NDA about that, but I do think they missed Lomas. So I'm so glad you said it, brother. I'm so glad you said it. It's true. Andrew Guy, just a total buffoon. Okay. Right. He's doing great on the desk. There was no need for this tomfoolery. And, I think I'm a pretty respectful player. Okay. I think I respect the game. I think I respect my opponents. I bring a lot of class and civility to the schmodown. So to see that on the other side, right down my line of sight the whole night, just so spiritually upsetting. What that
it
man
is.
does.
And
thank God. And by the way, people keep saying, so glad to see action back. Hooray. I hope you enjoyed it while it lasted because it's over. Man's going back behind the desk. He ain't coming back out. All right. So I hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. It's over.
I just want to know who gave Andrew Guy a drum.
Well, there was some sort of thuggy cult out in the parking lot. It was a whole thing, and I think they just left some of their props behind, and it speaks to Guy's character that he would swipe one before the match.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to address this. Going into the third round, obviously when you did go first and you missed your 2-pointer, it's saying onward instead of soul and not getting the points. And then seeing Guy's reaction, just to kind of double down on that, it's hard to play against, right? Someone is banging a drum, running around, openly laughing in your face, must be distracting, hard to concentrate, throws you off your game. Obviously, these are all strategies that these guys implement and other players have done in the past. How is it like playing in studio, seeing that obviously, being different, playing in digital and people playing mind games to having it face to face, someone literally running past you, laughing. How was that? How do you guys deal with that?
It's a real challenge. The Ranger learns something every time he plays. I'm one of the greatest of all time, unquestionably. That doesn't mean there's not still things to learn. And I learned a lot about the mind game that someone can play because, I've always been on one side of that equation. I try to think of myself as a little bit of a show stealer, right? I try to think of myself as a bit of an entertainer. I give people something to show up and watch. I bring purpose to this game, and so to have somebody on the other side bringing it back to me just as hard, if not way harder. And that is true. Moose here in the chat, greatest G Moose, Lomas. Can you elaborate on the table marriage?
Yes, it was arranged. We had built the entire outcropping. I had arranged for a choir. We had purchased an amazing amount of rice, and then Andrew Guy, like the coward he is, just ran off. Didn't show up. It's sad. Now this mutant child, whatever it is going to be born a bastard. It's going to go through its life filled with shame, everyone looking at it, everyone knowing what happened, and it's all because this man will not live up to his responsibilities. His responsibility is to be behind that desk, calling matches, not on that desk, defiling matches. That's what it should have been like.
That's true. You watch Titans next week, look closely at that desk. You're going to see it is sad in a way that I'm not sure it's ever going to come back from, to be left at the altar. I mean, what kind of guy does that? Probably the guy who bangs a drum in my face while I'm trying to answer the hardest two-pointer of all time. Which, by the way, I did say R word. It's true. It's the only other Pixar film released in the same year. So you know what I mean? It's about as right of a wrong answer you could get. So still pretty good job on my part.
I believe it was also nominated too. So simple mistake there.
Exactly.
In fairness, this is the movie trivia showdown, schmodown. It is not the cartoon schmodown. It is not an eligible question.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, despite Runaway Guy's antics, and talking about animation, the Rager did get his 5 sharp. Wasting no time, not doing that thing that Bateman does that you rightly point out. To kind of longs out the show, doesn't it? Quadruple R. He's longs out the show, makes it longer, and we're all watching at home, waiting for the match to be over, and he's using his pointless repeats. Again, all mind games or strategy. So, but yeah, fantastic 5 point there. And then obviously he did get his extremely, I don't want to say easy, but simple 2 and 3, and obviously wins the match. Unfortunately,
easiest 2 and 3 of all time.
Right, yeah, definitely. But look at your 5. It's extremely hard. So I do get your guys' outcry. If you guys want to submit any protests or online petitions, we'll happily post it in the chat or anything like that. No, not a problem. And then moving forward, guys. Obviously. You did take a couple of shots in your post-match interview, Quadruple R, one to Paige. Is there anyone else you're looking at? Maybe throw your hand in IG as well. How are you thinking? Where's the path from here? You still after Kevin Smith? What's the deal?
Look, here's what I'll say. I show up to Friday Night Titans. I'm the first one they ask, of course. They want to come in loud and better than ever. They want the show to be a success. Who do they call? The Rager Rick Raddus. And so I show up. I say, who do I got? They let Ben Bateman walk out there, smug as a bug, and call me out. They don't ask me if I'm interested in that match. They don't ask me who I want to face because I called my shot last year, and I ain't seen it yet. So I'm thinking maybe next time I come out there, maybe it's my turn to call somebody out. Okay, that's how we run in this show. We just show up, say what we want, we get it. So maybe that's the response the Rager should get when he flies out to Friday Night Titans from here on out. So sure, Paige Rabetti would love to face Paige Rabetti. Kind of crazy our paths didn't cross last season. We had great rookie years. Never met on the field. Love to face her. I'd love to take somebody that the people really love because I see the way they responded to my match. They see the way I was mistreated. They saw the injustice that was forced upon me. They saw the system conspire against me, and they cheered. They laughed in the chat and the comments on the forums. Team Action's back, baby. Oh, man, what a treat. What a joy. They wanted to laugh at my expense. Ben Bateman wanted to make a moment at my expense. Andrew Guy going to be calling matches for the rest of the year, and I got to look at that demon on the table for the rest of the year and try to ignore the history that we now have, that awkward energy we now share. I don't appreciate it. So sure, I might show up and I might take somebody that the people love so much that they cheer for, that they laugh about, that they post comments for, buy t-shirts for. And I might make an example out of them. Maybe that's Paige Rabetti. Maybe that's somebody like hey, I said t-shirts. Maybe that's somebody like Josh McCouga. Everybody's so happy when Josh McCouga came back. So maybe I gotta make an example out of somebody else. Maybe Kevin Smith will start returning my phone calls and my text messages and my tweets and my Snapchats and my Skypes and my TikToks. And I also sent him a letter in the actual mail. And I've been hiking up these trails trying to find him. I know he's out here. Hummus recipe message boards. I'm gonna buy his new NFT. Maybe that'll give me his email address. I can send him an email there. Maybe I'll face Kevin Smith. The fact is, the point is, no more Mr. Nice Rager. That's what you people did to me. That's what the show did to me. Now I see what I have to become to play the season that I deserve. I can't wait for it to show up. I just got to show up and take it. So that's what I'm going to do. It belongs to me. That's facts.
Amen.
Well said, guys. The league owes you. You guys were decepted in the 2 Friday Night Titans shows. So, you guys stole the show. They put you front and center. You both you headlined both shows. So I think the least they could do is give you guys who you want next. But we have a number of Outlaw Nation Patreon, questions. So let's get through. Let's get to them, and hopefully the boys can answer them.
For the first question, we have from Drunken Prayer. He wants to know, if you had to pick a single movie to do a 50-question Outlaw Nation League match on, what would you pick? In the Outlaw Nation, we have these one-movie matches where we have 50 questions on one movie. So what would you say would be like the movie that so well you can answer 50 questions on?
All of them, of course. But I would say I have seen all 63. Nah, I'm lying. I've only really seen 5 films, but I mean, I could watch all 63 films that they have made by the time this comes around, so it could be any of them. I would like to play a Moose Haas in a Burbs 50-question match at some point. I think that would be wonderful.
And for myself, I would probably say, number 1, I would say the entire Twilight Saga, films 1 through 5. I know you said one movie, but it's a saga. It's kind of like Star Wars in that way. It's one story. And then I would say, I think I could do quite well in give me 100-round exhibition in The Shining. I would love to do that.
I think Outlaw Nation would love to see both of you in those, especially the Twilight Saga. That would be we have to find someone for you to play that. From Justin
Moose accepts in the chat, so you're on, Lomas. We'll have to host it, in the Outlaw Nation.
I know for a fact that man does not accept the Twilight exhibition.
No. He accepts Lomas's challenge, I believe.
Okay.
Not yours. Yeah.
Then we have Justin Toner. He wants to know, how did your team up come about, and who came up with the team name?
Well, I think by the two of us, it's pretty clear who knows a thing or two about reckoning. Am I right, good brother?
Yes, indeed. Christian Holoff.
Yes, indeed. Well, here's the thing, there was a lot of demand for the two of us to get together last year, I feel. The team, there was always a plan for the Finstock Exchange to attack the team's division in mass, pair up everybody 2-2-2-2, and then just take it all. And the division didn't quite expand that way last year as we anticipated, but there was a lot of demand. Lomas and I didn't share a lot of screen time, unfortunately, last season, but anytime that we did, the response was immense. And how can you blame them? So we knew we weren't going to stay with the Exchange this season. And at the same time, we knew we wanted to have each other's backs out there. And at the same time, we also knew that there was a lot of work to be done in this show. There's a lot of souls to be saved and a lot of messes to clean up. And we could not do that nearly as effectively apart as we could together.
Yes, we originally were slated to be the number 1 seed in last year's team's tournament, but there were some passport issues, and I was not allowed to legally leave Canada for several months at the time of the team tournaments, which has caused an issue.
Sorry
in
to hear
Canada.
that. Sorry to
Not
hear
after
that. We also need, from you
Yes,
guys
sir.
as well, we also need a synchronized dance. You guys both do it separately. If you guys did choreographed one together, the fans could do it at home. Kids could do it. We could put it on, T-shirts, that kind of thing. So maybe I'm not sure if the brother there is Brother Lomis is up for that, but you do bust the moves. So I'm just saying, if we have one that we can all do, we'd all like to join in.
I mean, you've seen this man cut a rug sparingly, but whenever he does, it's really truly something.
He's
to
gifted.
see.
He's gifted.
That's a great point. I think a reckoning TikTok challenge would really do a lot of good for the youth of today.
It would. It would.
It probably would end drug use and teen pregnancy all in one fast swoop.
Sure.
Doing the Lord's work there. Going now to Jeremy Miller. He wants to know favorite villain or villains in a movie.
Favorite villains.
Yes. I would say my top 3, Kramer and Kramer versus Kramer, Judd Nelson in The Breakfast Club, and Scooby-Doo in 2020's Scoob.
Of course, Scoob. Of course, Scoob.
It's a dastardly film.
That rascal.
Oh man, favorite villain. Well, you know what they say. The best villain is one that you can really understand, right? So I would say maybe Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street, or maybe maybe Happy Gilmore from Happy Gilmore. He's just getting in Shooter McGavin's way. Just getting in his way.
Of course.
Grow up.
Yeah.
And then we have
elderly women's pathetic.
Right.
It's true.
We have a question from Ambling Soul. She wants to know, what kind of spiritual guidance would you give the members of the Outlaw Nation?
Big question.
That is tough.
It's tough when you have such a great spiritual leader and role model at leading the helm already in the Outlaw John Roca, who, I miss all my brothers and sisters on the Finstock Exchange, but we most dearly miss Mr. John Roca, who by the way, I would have loved to have seen play this season. I kind of wish he had one more before he went, because I would have loved to see him thrive in this environment. He would have just owned the current format of Titans. Gosh, Lomas, I mean, I'm learning from you every day, my good brother. What would you tell these? What would you tell these people? How would you lead them? I follow your example.
Talk to us.
I would say you are on the ship, and John Roca is at the helm. All you have to do is not mutiny, and he will bring you to the promised land. Now, when you get to that promised land, I will be standing on the beach to greet you, but let Roca take you there.
Thank you for the advice, brother. Thank you so much.
Well.
And our last question we have from Alan Smithy. He wants to know, Lomas, do you believe the rapture is coming soon? What members of Schmoville, including Brother Raddus, do you believe will be left behind?
Great question.
Well, let's see. You have Team Action. They're not going anywhere.
Right.
You have whoever it was on the writing team that dared to ask me a question in our teams match that has evil in the title of the film. And who was that short guy in season 1? The real short guy in season 1.
Hal Rudnick, maybe?
No. He had the weird shaped head. He's not coming either.
Thank God.
When I think of his name, I'll tell you, but he's the short guy with the weird shaped head.
Someone in the chat help us out. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Can't stand that guy.
Well, those are all the Patreon questions. Thank you, Brother Lomis and Raddus, for your guidance today.
Right, guys. Yeah.
Go in peace, my children. Go in peace.
Okay, so yeah, we're just going to sign off now. Thank you guys so much for spending time on your Saturdays with the Outlaw Nation and the Ultimate Showdown After Show. So we'll do one at a time. So we'll sign off first with Quadruple R. Anything you want to say? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk to the Showdown community about? The floor is yours.
Well, look, I try to stay off the social media. I think it's a little toxic for the soul, but I do happen to steal my agent's Twitter once in a while. That's at Taylor L. Cleek. All Raddus tweets are signed with triple R. Maybe I should start doing quadruple R now that we've established that status quo here on this show. So you can follow him over there if you want to stay in touch with me, which comes highly recommended. And besides that, look, watch Friday Night Titans every Friday. As the star of the show, I'm highly invested in your viewership. And you might want to be a little bit nicer to me next time I'm on that show. Or else, see you on the other side, Daddy-o. Rage on.
Brother, please talk to the people. Anything you want to plug, anything you want to address to the community, the floor is yours.
Yes, I would like to plug milk. It's wholesome. It's a delicious drink. It gives cows something to do. So drink milk. That's it.
Amen.
Watch Friday Night Titans.
Amen.
You heard it here first. The Reckoning. We hope to see you guys very soon. You've been a pleasure today, and justice for the Reckoning. So thank you guys so much for coming on, and we'll see you guys when we see you.
Farewell.
Well, that was the Reckoning. So fun guys. You know, didn't get a fair shake, I think, against Team Action. You know, getting shafted against Ben Bateman, but hey, they're hell of a characters and super funny, cool guys as well.
And good
both on Twitter.
players.
Absolutely, both on Twitter. So hit them up. But yeah, that's been kind of the show really overall. I mean, there was a couple of additional cutscenes, I'll say, with obviously Mike Kalinowski and being presented all his paths in each division. You know, obviously in teams against Shazam, they've got a kind of win or break up match. In IG, obviously, he has to wait for, I believe it's Smets to play someone. I'm not sure him. Rumors it's Amaru, but don't know. And obviously, he's going to play Paige next week in IG. So thoughts on that, and also predictions on the Paige and Kalinowski match.
You know, I got to go for my girl Paige. She's now part of the fan favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is perfectly fitting because she is a fan favorite. And I love Mike. It's not at the same when she beat Ben Bateman. I was going hard for her. And then when she actually won, I was like, yes. Because I think you got that prediction wrong there, but I got it right. Because you have to go for the bad boy, Ben Bateman. But with Kalinowski, I'll be happy either way, but I'm going to root for Paige in that match.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go Paige as well. Kalinowski, I think his last win was against Paul Waterhauser, if I remember correctly. So I want to say over a year ago. I don't know exactly. Obviously, he's been killing it in IG, but had a good title match against Shazam, but his last kind of he lost to Janine, I believe. So his last singles match. So I think maybe he's a little rusty in singles. So we'll see. But I will go Paige, on that match. She's super hungry. And I think that she will win that match personally. But we'll see. In studio, I think it's her first, studio match proper. So we'll see how she does. And then obviously we saw Jacoby Bancroft and, looking for Riley. I'm not sure what Riley's doing exactly. I don't know if they're a team. Are they going to face off? Don't know what you guys think in the chat, but I presume they're going to be a team. And, who knows? But yeah, thoughts on Riley. Seeing Riley again, it's great. He's a legend and good to see him back.
He had a little Mr. Miyagi moment when he said after, and he goes after, and Jacob said after when, and he says after. And I was like, Mr. Miyagi, is that you?
Right. Yeah.
So it's good to see him. It'll be interesting what those two together might lead up to. He doesn't really know who Jacob is there when he asked him, like, who are you? So it'll be interesting to see the little crumbs that are being laid down, how they'll turn out later.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting, and see with the join a faction. I think most are full now. They're on their own. They're going to have a manager who they're going to play. So super interesting things going down. But yeah, next week, obviously, we have Paige against Kalinowski. Undercard hasn't necessarily been announced yet. I was just going to read Leah Logan's comment in the chat. Riley and Jacoby is an interesting pair. I thought Jacoby would have reteamed with Janine on the dungeon. Yeah, possibly, but he seems to be going Riley. So we'll see. We'll see what's going down there. But that's it, everyone. That's been Friday Night Titans review. This has been the Ultimate Shredder after show, short, sharp show today. Thank you so much for the reckoning. Thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you all the patrons submitting questions. Just before we sign off, so anything you want to plug or say or address?
Join the Outlaw Nation Patreon because I'm playing in a match today in the Outlaw Nation League, and you should join the Patreon to come see me try not to make a fool out of myself. So join the Patreon.
Yes, we shall see. I'll say, obviously, like the video, of course. Drop a comment. You'll get shouted out on the next episode, like we did today at the start of the episode. Shout out, of course. We like to do that. So, respecting, obviously, people that are watching. I will say as well, I did see LGR had a 2-year anniversary So I'd say congrats to them. You check out that stream. Obviously, ours is coming up soon as well. I will say Triple R's agent, who part owns a YouTube channel. They have an after show called Spin from the Real. They also have, I think, Mark Ellis on Monday. I thought that was kind of cool, so I'll plug them as well. But yeah, other than that, that's it. Catch us next week, same time, live 3 p.m. PST. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Patreon. But that has been the Ultimate Shimano After Show, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.